Breaking news on KGW News at 11.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco, and first at 11, let's get right to breaking news and a deadly shooting involving a Portland police officer. Alma McCarty joins us now from 127th and East Burnside. That is the Hazelwood area. Alma, what are you learning?
David, we do not know too much information at this point. Police only confirming with us that it is a fatal shooting and that a Portland police officer was involved. As you can see here, there are a lot of different police cars. You can't exactly tell that they are police cars, but they are unmarked cars on this scene here, and they have been here, from what we have been told, for a long time. People who live in the area say that it could have started with a man who was shooting his gun into the air, and police responded after that. But however, that is unconfirmed at this point by Portland police. We do see the mobile command center and more officers arriving on scene even at this time. We are currently, as you said, on Southeast 126th and East Burnside, but the scene from when we were driving up here, what extends all the way to Stark Street as well. There are a small group of protesters who are out here who did show up probably around 10:35 and began shouting at the police officers. Again, we are still working to confirm more information, but this would make the third officer-involved shooting involving Portland police this week, and as I'm told, the fifth this year. We will be back to you with more information as soon as we know it.
Fairly wide scene there, still ongoing, in a fatal shooting with a Portland police officer involved. Thank you, Alma. We'll bring you updates as they come in. We're also following breaking news of an armed man on a condo rooftop in southwest Portland. This has been going on a long time, too, along Barnes Road near Miller Road. Police say the suspect is wanted for robbery, domestic violence, and assault. They tried to arrest him around 4:30 this afternoon, they say, and the standoff ongoing. Right now, residents are being told to shelter in place and to stay away from their windows. This man, whose mom lives in that building, is understandably shaken up.
Yeah, it's scary. You know, I know that she shouldn't leave her home, but I'm worried because she hasn't picked up her phone either. When I pulled in, one of the officers had mentioned that they think that everybody's okay right now, so that was a relief. But you know, I'm genuinely still a little bit worried.
Yeah, you can understand that. Police say negotiators are on scene. They add they believe the man is more of a danger to himself than the community. Updates as we get them at kgw.com. Well, let us talk about the extreme heat. And on day 4 of this heat wave, people are doing whatever they can, wherever they can, to cool down, whether that's taking shelter in the AC to finding some relief in the water. But we learned tonight that sadly 2 Oregonians have now died from what's suspected to be heat-related illnesses. One of them lived in Multnomah County. We're expecting an update on the second death tomorrow. Now, medical examiners will work to confirm the official cause of death. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Now, Matt, how many more days of this are we actually looking at here? Yeah, you know, David, you and I were talking about this earlier. Today's day 4 of the heat wave, and we've got at least another 3 before we see things settle down and get back into the 80s. And the good news is much cooler weather coming our way next week, but that's next week. We still are only halfway through this week. Right now, it is 80 degrees in Portland, which is actually 1 degree cooler than it was at this time last night. You look around town, though, and it is cooler. It's 73 out in Hillsboro. Here in downtown Portland, we're at 75, but still 80 in Vancouver, 77 Westland, 75 King City, 72 down in McMinnville. Look at the coast. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but it's warm out there. We're 1 degree cooler, 2 degrees cooler in Hillsboro. So even though our day was cooler, our night isn't cooling off commensurately. So it's another warm evening out there. Here's what we're looking at on the almanac. Our high today was 96, well below the record of 103 during that brutal heat wave of 2009, but well above the average of 84. And by the way, the rainfall is 1,700ths of an inch. That'll be it for the month of July. We won't get any more. That's not even in the top 25 driest July, so nothing unusual about that. So it's going to get hotter for the next couple of days. We'll get some cooling on Sunday, and then much more significant cooling kicking in Sunday night
and Monday. So we will get through this, but as I've been saying, David, we have to be patient. The next couple of days are going to be really hot. We'll talk more about the wildfire smoke, which is coming north from California, and our air quality in a bit. Back to you.
Gotta be patient. We can see it. We're just not there yet. Thank you, Matt. Well, let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. Authorities have confirmed they recovered a body at Oxbow Park in eastern Multnomah County. It came after reports that somebody was floating face down in the Sandy River this afternoon. There are a few details about the victim or the circumstances of their death. Of course, we'll update you here and at KGW.com as we learn more. A father and young son are safe tonight after police say someone stole their van in Tualatin with the 9-month-old infant still inside. Dad says he was dropping off his dog at a business and left the van running. Now, in the few moments he was gone, police say a suspect stole the vehicle and drove off. The baby was later found by the side of the road in Oregon City. Thankfully, is doing okay. Dad also left his phone in the van, which helped police track it to Portland. They arrested the suspect, a 24-year-old named Marcus Paul. And returning to the heat, some local businesses have either closed their doors entirely or shortened their hours. One of them, Papa Hayden, that popular restaurant and bakery, shut its doors for dinner tonight and will close early tomorrow as well to give their staff a break. They're still open for lunch. The Washington County Fair, by the way, delaying their start each day to keep people out of the heat. It's going to run from 7 o'clock in the evening to midnight tomorrow and Friday. A reminder, if you or someone you know needs help staying cool, KGW.com has a growing list of cooling centers and hot weather tips. Or you can do this. It's really easy. Just text the word heat to 503-226-5088 and we will send the list straight to your phone. Well, today's heat didn't stop some homeless camp sweeps in Vancouver. In fact, it's because of those temperatures and wildfire conditions, the city will not allow camps in some public natural areas. City Council recently passed an ordinance that specifically prohibits camps in places like the Burnt Bridge Creek Trail. Homeless outreach workers say they have been working with campers for months now, offering support and in many cases new living situations. So today, ahead of the sweep, most of the campers had moved on.
We've done everything that we can to make sure that people have alternatives, but the reality is that this place is just ripe for a wildfire, you know, and people trying to maybe stay warm at night or even just cook their food will use fire, you know, and sometimes that gets out of control, especially in dry environments like this.
One example of fire a month ago at a large homeless camp just north of Vancouver. The fire spread into some brush and trees. One person was hurt. Conditions now, as we head into the hottest, driest part of the year, of course, even more challenging. Well, tonight, the city of Tigard has agreed to pay $3.8 million in a settlement with the family of a man shot by Tigard police last year. As Catherine Cook reports, the death of Jacob McDuff and the many questions raised by his family have also sparked some policy changes.
We came to the conclusion that this killing wasn't justified, and we believe the terms of the settlement bear that out.
Attorney Scott Levin is pleased with the $3.8 million settlement his client, Maria McDuff, is getting from the city of Tigard. Her son, 26-year-old Jacob McDuff, was shot and killed by Tigard police on January 6, 2021. Officers were called to his apartment for a domestic disturbance. Loved ones say he was having a psychotic episode, part of ongoing mental health struggles. Investigators say McDuff locked himself inside his truck as half a dozen officers surrounded it. About an hour and a half later, this happened. Listen as an officer fires less lethal beanbag rounds at the windshield.
There was actually confusion among the officers about how this got initiated in the first place.
Just seconds later, a different officer fired real gunshots into the truck, hitting and killing McDuff.
He apparently assumed this was Jacob's shooting because he immediately began shooting Jacob.
These findings were part of a forensic reconstruction of events McDuff's attorneys commissioned. They used evidence released after the Oregon Attorney General's office and a grand jury found no evidence of criminal wrongdoing by the officers. Initial police reports suggested McDuff had reached for a knife while in his truck, but attorneys for the family say physical evidence did not support that. And they had other concerns.
We never got an explanation for the impatience of these officers. And because this case was indefensible, it settled. And hopefully, the city of Tigard will take this opportunity to learn from this tragic mistake.
As part of the settlement, the City of Tigard agreed to an independent audit of the officer's conduct, which will be made public. Also, the Tigard Police Department is making several policy changes, including implementing body cameras and increasing police training. A statement from Tigard Police Chief Kathy McAlpine read in part, "First and foremost, to the McDuff family, I want to personally acknowledge that your son's life was lost." She went on to say, "This police department is committed to learning and growing from our experiences. We did our own thorough review of this case and have made several updates to policies, procedures, and training as a result." The McDuff's attorney says all of it matters to Jacob's mother.
She feels that she made a difference in pursuing this matter on behalf of Jacob, and so she's pleased with that aspect of it. It will never bring her son back.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
New tonight, honoring a woman who worked to make Portland a better place for more than 4 decades. Jenny Nelson was one of the co-founders of the Sisters of the Road Cafe. Founded in 1979, the Old Town Cafe offers a full menu with a big twist. Can't pay? Well, you can still get a meal by chipping in, bussing tables, washing dishes, or even bartering. Jenny passed away 2 years ago, but because of the pandemic, her friends and family weren't able to gather until tonight to remember her impact.
My mother really embodied love and compassion in not just her work, but in every aspect of her life until the day she passed. And I think Bob was the one who said, she died of heart failure, but my mother's heart never failed.
She died of heart failure, but my mother's heart never failed. The cafe remains open, serving customers as Jenny's vision of service with respect now becomes her legacy.